Please take your seat.
Swamiji, we hear a lot about peace. Could you tell us how to find it?
Yes. The peace should be found within oneself first. If you do not have peace within yourself, you can't find the peace outside. This reminds me of a small incident. Once a businessman was seriously talking to his friend, and his young little son came and interrupted. So the father found out a world map, tore it into pieces to form a sort of jigsaw puzzle, and gave it to the boy, saying, "Son, will you please put them again together to form the world?" The boy was really intelligent. He said, "Okay, I'll try." He took it. Of course, being a young boy who did not know much about the world geography, he was a bit puzzled. All of a sudden, he just turned one piece the other way. He saw a small piece of nose sticking out. Then he turned the other piece. He saw a hand. A third piece, he saw a leg. Then he placed all the pieces upside down to find different parts of the human body. And as you know, it is very easy to locate where the hand should go, where the head should be, where the feet should be. So very easily he arranged the whole human body in the proper order, and then he placed a glass piece over it and turned the whole thing upside down to see the world in order. With all excitement, he ran to the father with this piece of material. The father was surprised to see this. "How could you do this?" "Oh, father, that is very easy." "Well, the whole world is puzzled like this, and you say it is very easy. How could it be?" "Daddy, I turned the other side. I saw the parts of the human body. So I set right the human body, and the world became all right." So you set the man right, and the world becomes all right. So first we should have the peace to see the peace outside. You know the proverb, charity begins at home. Not only charity, peace begins at home. The same way hatred also begins at home. Everything is in the mind. So by changing the mind, we can easily change the world outside. Okay?
Thank you.
Swamiji, you said that yoga is perfection in action. What is a perfect act?
Yoga is perfection in action. Yes. It's a bit difficult to say what is perfect and what is imperfect. But the result of the action will tell you whether it is a perfect action or not. If the result of that action brings benefit to all people concerned with that, to the person who does that action, to the person who enjoys the benefit of it, without bringing harm to anybody, then it is perfect action. But if it is going to bring harm to even one individual, or if it is going to build up a tension in your own mind, it's not a perfect action. When you do an act, if you have a personal motive behind it, or if you expect a reward by that action, even before you start doing it, you build up a tension. There is an expectation, there is an anxiety, there is a fear of losing that also. So you spoil the mind with which you are doing the action. Then the very action is spoiled. Instead, if the mind is kept free from any expectation whatsoever, and if your action is done just for the sake of action, for the sake of the others, then that action is a perfect one. So a selfless action is a perfect action. A selfish action is an imperfect one. It can be any action. Outwardly it may look to be a nice act, a holy act even. Build a church. It's a holy act. Everybody will appreciate it. But still, that also could be an imperfect one as far as you are concerned, if you expect a little name and fame behind that act. Then your very expectation will bring a few enemies to you. You may dislike a few people who refuse to give you donations to build a church. But if you are doing it just for the sake of humanity, you just accept what people give. If anybody says, I can't give you, you are not worried about it. You don't dislike him because there's nothing personal involved in that. So, it is the motive behind the action and the result of the action that will decide whether an action is perfect or imperfect.
Swamiji, you say that we should always think of others and give as much as we can. But Swamiji, is it really natural to give to others all the time, putting ourselves second?
Yes. Child, we are here to love and to give. The very nature works that way. Wherever you see there is only giving. There is no asking for. If you give something, it takes. Otherwise there is no demand. But even without getting anything, they give. Take an apple tree. Does it demand that you should pour water? Does it demand that you should manure it? No. It doesn't demand anything. It is there. It works hard. Even if you don't pour water, it sends its own nerves, which you call the roots, in different directions. It will get a little moisture. And drinks that moisture, takes that manure, nutrition from the soil, grows up. Ultimately it brings forth thousands of apple fruits. With so much hardship, it brings forth its fruits. Don't you think it is reasonable for the tree to claim all its fruits for itself? Because it worked so hard. But you see the nature's law there. Have you ever seen an apple tree tasting its own fruit? Even though it brings forth thousands of fruits, it gives and gives and gives. Not only to the people who praise the tree, but to the people who stone the tree also. If suppose somebody throws a stone at you, will you give a $10 note? You will claim $10 note. That's it. So that is it. There is sacrifice. Sacrifice is the law of life. Candle burns. We make use of the light while the candle dies bit by bit. An incense stick gives us fragrance to become ash ultimately. It never demands anything in return. Everywhere you see the same sacrifice. They are all ready to give. The human species, which claims to be the highest of the species, should learn the lesson from the candle, incense stick, from the tree. Then permanent joy and peace will be ours.
Swamiji, what are the benefits of detachment?
The troubles that will follow the attachment will not be there. As I said before, the selfishness and the selflessness. Detachment keeps your mind calm and serene. But the moment you show any attachment, you put tension in the mind. Take the case of a doctor. He is an eminent surgeon. He can operate any kind of operations with all ease. But in the case of a small operation on his own beloved wife or child, he hesitates. He feels a little nervous. Sometimes he seemed to be losing his own capacity to do that operation. So he calls for another doctor to come and do. Why? Because the feeling mind builds a tension, the attachment. Take the case of a judge who tries a case. If it is proved that the person who is being tried is a relation of this judge, the case is transferred to another court. Why? Because unconsciously there will be a sort of leaning towards that man. The judgment may not be correct. But if the judge is completely neutral, well poised, if he is a yogi who has that tranquil mind, neutral mind, which has found out the 0 point, then his judgment will be absolutely clean and perfect. So to find that neutrality, one should be detached. No liking or disliking. But if the mind leans to either of the side, it will lose its power of judgment. Every morning, many of you people watch your weight by standing on a small balance. But before you stand, you check up where the balance needle shows the 0 point or not. If it fails to show the 0 point, your weight will be incorrect. The same way, when we want to weigh things, pass judgment, we have to do it from a neutral point. We should not be prejudiced beforehand. So that neutral point can be achieved only by a completely detached mind. That is the goal of yoga also. Neutrality, tranquility, equanimity. Samatvam yoga uchyate, says Bhagavad Gita. Equanimity is yoga. To such a mind, permanent happiness is its property. Yes, sir?
Swamiji, what is the root cause of all suffering?
The root cause, well, I used to say a proverb very often. The sorrow is nothing but what you borrow. The root cause of our suffering is our wrong approach, and in a way it is our greed, our attachment, our clinging on to things. The more we are attached to things, the more we suffer. Have you ever seen a silk moth? No. You all use silk, but you don't know how the silk comes. A silk moth is fed on mulberry leaves. A tiny little moth, just the size of a small bit of hair, within 30 or 40 days becomes as big as your thumb. How? By continuously eating, day and night. It eats and eats and eats, nothing but eating. And as you all know, when you eat a lot, you get tired, you feel drowsy, and you go to sleep. Normally when you go to sleep with a heavy stomach, you don't sleep, but you dream. So the moth also, after eating all these days, went to sleep, started dreaming. And with a heavy stomach, can't sleep quietly, so it has to roll and roll and roll. While rolling and while dreaming, the excess stuff that it ate came as a sort of thick paste through the mouth. Just as sometimes you see people throw out saliva in their sleep. So the silk moth also sends out its thick, pasty saliva, which comes out as a string. So as the saliva flows like a string, it dreams and rolls continuously, and the very string becomes sort of cage-like as it is rolling. When everything what it ate is exhausted, it goes into a deep sleep. By the time the cage, which you call the cocoon, gets dried up and becomes a nice cage, a strong fortress-like. So when the moth, silk moth, opens its eyes after the sleep, it sees itself caught in a cage. Then it starts thinking, sort of self-analysis. What happened to me? Why am I like this? Then it recollects, yes, I started eating, and I ate and ate and ate. I never gave anything to anybody. Everything I got, I ate myself. Then I went to bed, I dreamt, I rolled. Oh, I see. Now I understand. It is my greed, it's my clinging on to things brought me this cage. So it's my own fetters, self-made fetter, self-made bondage. No more of this attachment, no more of this greed, no more clinging to things. Thus, the dispassion dawned in its life, and side by side the wisdom. So with the help of the wisdom and dispassion as two wings, and with the sharp intellect as the small nose, it was able to open the cage, come out, look at the cocoon, laugh at it, and flew back never to come again into that. People also are like that. They never say no to things. As it comes, they acquire more and more and more. Ultimately, they see that they are bound up by that. They can't leave anything. Everything starts bothering them. And ultimately, one day, the wisdom should dawn. Then they get the dispassion, a detachment. So, the suffering is self-made. Nobody on earth can make you suffer. It is our own attitude, our own ignorance. We think that by acquiring things we can be happy, and ultimately we become unhappy by the same things that we acquire. Instead, there's nothing wrong in keeping things. Keep them, but not to be attached to that. Use them for the sake of humanity. Then even though you have several things around you, still you are not attached because you are only using them. When you get into an office, you see many things. A nice table, chair, typewriter, telephone, this and that. But they are all for your use as long as you work there. When you walk out, you can't take a typewriter ribbon and put it in your pocket and walk out. Can't do that. So the entire world and the things in the world are for our use, not for our possession. If we understand this, we can always be happy.
Find out in the end, he'll set you free. walking down the path of your own choice. So don't you turn away from the sound of your own voice. When you reach the source of you, then sing out loud and clear. Sing out love loud enough so everyone can hear. He'll set you free. Everybody, he'll set you free.
Hari Om. Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace and joy. This is the goal of every human being. Man strives for this happiness by satisfying the physical, emotional, and intellectual aspects of his personality. He thinks that by gathering more and more money, name, fame, and such other acquisitions, he can be permanently happy. Every time he acquires something new, he feels that happiness momentarily, but he forgets that this momentary joy came only after a lot of anxiety and pain in acquiring the thing he wanted. And again, no sooner does he get it and feels that happiness, the fear of losing that thing comes in. This sort of restlessness continues on and on. Unfortunately, the man never bothers to remember the pain that came before and after the momentary pleasure. He takes it for granted that the pleasure came to him through the outside object that he acquired. That is why he runs after more and more things with the hope of getting more and more pleasure. Even that little thing he acquired is not used properly for the benefit of the humanity because of his selfish nature. In this modern age, we have invented many things. We are able to reduce space and time. We travel fast. We communicate even to the moon. We have computerized almost everything. We probe into the minutest particle of the matter, and we are able to use the force hidden within. With all these so-called advancements, we do not seem to have found peace and harmony. Every time a desire comes into the mind, the peace is disturbed. It is something like a stone falling into the still waters of a lake to create waves. When a desire enters into the peaceful mind, it disturbs the mind by creating a depression. That is why we often hear people saying that I am disturbed and depressed. After putting some effort in getting what he wants, he says that he has fulfilled the desire or the depression created by the desire. Then the mind regains its peace. This peace is the true nature of every individual. This is what is called awareness, consciousness, inner self, or the image of God. This state is divine. This is nirvana. This is the kingdom of God. Until this direct realization is attained, the ego, or the reflection of the self over the mind, takes the place of the true self and identifies itself with the body, mind, possessions, surroundings, and the like. With this sort of identification comes the feeling that I am a man, I am a woman, I am white, I am black, I am happy, I am unhappy, I am rich, I am poor, I am an American, I am an Australian, and so on to create hundreds of divisions. By proper self-analysis, one could realize one's own pure nature to rest in eternal peace. With such realization, he will become the master of his possessions, but never a slave. He will live in the world as a liberated man, like a boat in the water. A boat in the water floats itself and floats others also from shore to shore. But imagine the condition if the boat, by its weakness, allows the water to get into it. It could never save the people nor itself. This process of self-analysis, or the effort to know one's own self, is a direct path known as the Jnana Yoga, or the yoga through wisdom. Of course, this direct approach is possible only when the reasoning mind is very sharp and clear and undisturbed by the restless thoughts. This necessitates a good control over the mind. To gain this control, meditation is to be practiced. The process of meditation is to fix the mind on a chosen object or an idea or a sound. The object selected for meditation must be the one that ultimately refines the mind and makes it calm. Improper choice for meditation will lead into further restlessness. While learning meditation, the mind may often run into different areas. Every time one becomes aware of it, he should gently bring it back to the object of meditation. The very effort of bringing the mind again and again back to the meditation is termed concentration. Concentration becomes easy if one takes good care of controlling the different senses through which the mind experiences its sensual pleasures. Withdrawal of the senses from their objects is known as pratyahara. Pratyahara develops the will and the discriminating capacity of the individual. Withdrawal of senses, concentration and meditation, or in Sanskrit terminology, pratyahara, dharana and dhyana, are the main practices in the royal path or Raja Yoga. These practices are built up over the foundation of ethical perfection. This ethical code that is given in Raja Yoga is almost similar to the 10 Commandments given in the Holy Bible. They are non-violence, non-stealing, non-lying, celibacy, and non-craving. They form one group which is called Yama. Purity, contentment, austerity, study of scriptures, and dedication to the Lord form the second group called Niyama. When Yama and Niyama are practiced in the midst of the daily life, mind becomes clean and calm. Meditation is also performed on a mystic sound which is called a mantram. This path is called Japa Yoga. Japa means repetition. Mantram is a sound structure of one or more syllables which represent a particular aspect of the cosmic vibration. Concentrated mental repetition of the mantram produces the corresponding vibration within the individual system. These vibrations, when they become strong and powerful, will get in tune with the same kind of vibrations of the cosmic sound. This will enable the practitioner to draw an unlimited amount of the quality of which his mantram stands for. This extraordinary power of Japa Yoga demands the selection of the correct mantram. Because in the cosmic field there are positive and negative vibrations. They have the power to make or break. With the repetition of the correct mantram, we will be able to attract the divine qualities. If the mantram is not chosen correctly, it could bring danger and untold miseries. God expresses himself as the cosmic sound. This truth is revealed and expressed by all the prophets, sages, and saints. In the beginning there was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God, is the saying in the Holy Bible. The Hindu Vedas call this as the Nada Brahman, or the sound absolute. Mandukya Upanishad, which is the crest jewel among all other 108 Upanishads of the Hindu religion, talks solely about this sound. Of course, when the cosmic sound is brought into the limitations of spoken word, it gets different expressions according to the individual who expresses it. That is why we hear the same sound expressed as Om, Amen, Ameen, and so on. But let us not forget the truth. It is only in expression by the human minds and languages they differ, and not in its essence. Once this truth is realized, we will be able to see the unity in diversity. The direct approaches so far mentioned may not be quite suitable for the people who have a devotional outlook. Generally, they are very much emotional and they use their heart in their daily life. They are the people who do not bother to reason out everything, but just to love everything. If they could extend that love to the entire creation and to the Lord who created it, that becomes universal love or devotion. one could be devoted either to God or to one's own spiritual teacher who gives him the insight. Then he dedicates all his thoughts, feelings and actions in serving them. By such an attitude, they free themselves from the selfishness. Thus, they could keep their mind calm and clean. This path of devotion or bhakti yoga can be practiced by everyone. All that is needed is faith and constant loving remembrance of God and Guru. The devotees of the Lord sing and chant the names of the Lord to feel the ecstasy of His presence. This is called Sankirtan, which forms a part of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti does not come in with mere outward symbols. Together with this, a great change of mind is needed. Let us listen to the definition of a bhakta or a devotee as given in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord Himself. He who has hatred towards no life but friendship and compassion, he who has no thought of I or mine, who is equal in the dualities of pain and pleasure, who is the image of patience, who is ever content and eager in the yogic life, who is firmly established in his Atman or in his higher self, who has surrendered both mind and intellect to me, he, O Arjuna, is the bhakta most dear to me. He who does not trouble the world and who is not troubled by the world, who is free from great joy, anger, fear and mental restlessness is dear to me. He who is equal in enmity and friendship, fame and defamation, heat and cold, pleasure and pain, praise and blame, who is without attachment, who is content with what he has, who keeps nothing for himself, and who is steady in mind, he, O Arjuna, is the devotee most dear to me. Friends, it is time we considered why in all these lines the Lord did not mention even a single word about outward symbols or rituals. Of course, He never denied them. But it is clear that rituals without mental fitness will not give the maximum benefit. Sometimes the rituals performed without understanding the principles or significance may even lead into more bondage. For instance, when a Hindu breaks many coconuts in front of the altar and expresses his pride over having done so, the very act loses its entire value. For the breaking of the coconut signifies the breaking of one's ego. If the ego is going to enter into the sacred ritual of breaking the coconut itself, then where is the salvation for him? When an individual loves the entire creation wholeheartedly, he cannot stay quiet without extending his arms in service. Such a service knows no bargain or disappointment, because in bargaining we expect some sort of return. That means we make appointments with selfish reasons, and when we do not achieve what we want, we say we are disappointed. What is the cause for our disappointment? Is it not our own appointment? Therefore, make no appointment and have no disappointment. Even the term love is very much misused. Passion for sensual enjoyment is given the sacred name love. Love should bring comfort to the one who gives and to the one who receives, and discomfort to none. For example, the love of one's own creed, country, language or religion should not bring quarrels and wars with other people. Service with universal love and sacrifice of personal interest is called the path of action or karma yoga. If everybody learns to lead the life of a karma yogi, this very world will be a heaven, the God's kingdom. There will be supreme peace and perfect happiness on earth. Now, just a few thoughts about the body, which is the real vehicle with which we will be able to practice and enjoy the benefits of all the different yogas mentioned before. The bodily postures are the asanas, deep relaxation, breath control are the pranayamas, and the various cleansing processes known as the kriyas, if done with proper concentration, help a lot in keeping the body supple and relaxed. They help in curing physical illness and having radiant health and vitality. This is achieved through Hatha Yoga. We should not forget the importance of proper diet. Diet should be free from toxins and it should be easily digestible. There should be sufficient nutrition to sustain the body. It should not overstimulate the body and mind. A well-blended combination of all these different specific methods to cater to the physical, emotional, intellectual and spiritual aspects of the individual is integral yoga. The goal of integral yoga is a body of perfect health and strength, mind with all clarity, calmness and control, intellect as sharp as a razor, will as strong as steel, heart full of love and mercy, life dedicated to the common welfare and the realization of one's own true nature or the divine within. May all attain this goal to have and to give peace and joy. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka samasta Shukino Bhavantu. May the entire world find peace and joy. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much. Hari Om Tat Sat. Oh bindu samyuktam nityam dhyayanti yogina kamadam mokshadam chaiva omkaraya namo namaha. Brahmanandam paramasugatam kevalam jnanamurtim dvandvatitam gaganasadrusam tattvamasyaadilakshyam ekam nityam vimalamachalam sarvadi sakshibhutam bhavatitam trigunarahitam sadgurum tam namami. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprabhanjaya Shantaya Niralambhaya Tejashe.
Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Pahima Buddha Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Pahima Buddha Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Pahima Buddha Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Buddha Bhagavan Pahima Bodhisattva 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 Rakshama Yes Nara Yes Nara Yes Nara Amen Yes Nara Yes Nara Yes Nara Amen Meri Mata Meri Mata Meri Mata Amen Meri Mata Meri Mata Amen Yes Nara Yes Nara Yes Nara 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 Amen Meri Mata Meri Mata Amen Meri Mata Meri Mata Meri Mata Amen Ala Deva Ala Deva Ala Deva Amen Ala Deva Ala Deva Ala Deva Amen Navinayaka 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 Amen Navinayaka 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 Amen Ala Deva Ala Deva Ala Deva 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 Amen
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, 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 Hari Hari Om.
Hari Hari Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om.
Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, 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 Om.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti,
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti,
Om Shanti, Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. May the entire world find peace and joy. Om Shanti. Thank you so much. Hari Om.
Swamiji, what is God?
Well, that's a nice question. Yes. Because there is a lot of talk about God, and people say God is called Shiva. Another man will say, oh, God is called Krishna. Third man will say God is called Christ. Fourth man will say God is called Father. Fifth man will say God is called Allah. Each one will come forward with a different name, and sometimes with different forms, occasionally even without form. But if you go a little deep into their own philosophy and scriptures, you will find out that they all say there is only one God, and that God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. He is everywhere. If God is everywhere, how can He have one form or one name? All these forms and names are His. So, in the real sense, God is formless, nameless, abstract, absolute one. You can call it absolute consciousness, or cosmic consciousness, or cosmic intelligence, or the cosmic force, or, according to the scientists, the basic matter and force, the essence or the thing in itself. There are so many versions about it. Then you may ask me, then why all these different names and forms? God being nameless and formless and unlimited, infinite, and at the same time our minds are limited, it is impossible for our limited minds to grasp the unlimited one, the infinite one. So the finite mind takes a little part of the infinite as it can understand and says that is the God for me. Something like 10 people go with 10 different containers or vessels to the sea. They all take sea water. When they come out, they will say sea water is like a cup. sea water is like a mug. Sea water is like a pot. Because the water takes the shape of the vessel with which they collect. Rain, for example, rainwater. Before it falls onto the ground, it is tasteless, colorless, odorless. But once it falls onto the ground, it assumes the color of the earth, it gets the odor of the earth, taste of the earth. The same way our mind is a kind of subtle matter. When God is perceived through the mind, it takes the form of that mind. So, each mind has its own conception of God. But there's nothing wrong in it. Because everybody talks about God according to his capacity, taste, and temperament. The only thing that is not wanted is the fight between the people. If we know that I am understanding God in my own way, we will allow the same thing to happen in the other man's case. So there is a unity in understanding, and there need not be a uniformity. With this knowledge, we can understand all the different philosophies and religions. Taste and temperament varies. So I always say, as many minds, so many religions, so many gods. Yes?
Swamiji, where do you draw the line between good and bad?
Well, it is difficult to draw a line between good and bad. One man's poison is other man's nectar. One time good is other time bad. A warm blanket, a woolen blanket is very good for winter. But you don't even touch it in summer. So it depends upon how you approach. Truly speaking, there is neither good nor bad in the world outside. Everything is neutral. Take for example an electric outlet in your apartment. There is current. Is it good or bad? You all may say, oh, it is very good, that's why I am having the current there. When I plug a lamp, I get light. When I plug my radio, I get music. So it's good, you say. All of a sudden, if somebody jumps up and say, no, electricity is dangerous, it's very bad, that is why I started an anti-electric campaign now. And I have many followers also. And if you coolly ask him what is the reason for his anti-electric campaign, he would reveal his experience, saying, you see, the other day I plugged my fingers and I got a terrible shock. So to him, electricity is bad. But if he knows how to use, it is good. Poison, for example, cobra poison. The moment we hear the name poison, we are frightened. We say it's terrible, it's bad. But there are certain medicines made out of that poison. So poison is not poison, it becomes nectar if you know how to administer. But if you do not know that, even a nectar will become poison. So there is nothing as good or bad outside. It all depends upon our approach. Yes?
Swamiji, what is a guru?
What is?
A guru.
Oh, yes. That term seems to be very much misunderstood and misused sometimes. The literal meaning of guru is teacher. But here the term stands for a spiritual teacher. One who helps you in realizing your own spirit by removing your ignorance. So the very term guru, according to the Sanskrit language, has two words inside, gu and ru. Gu means darkness or ignorance. Ru means the remover. So a guru is the one who removes the darkness or the ignorance in your life. Well, even in ordinary life, if somebody teaches you a little bit of cooking, as far as that art is concerned, he is a guru. But that is not the removal of complete ignorance, the basic ignorance. A little ignorance regarding your cooking is removed. So that is an ordinary teacher. But the spiritual teacher will remove your basic ignorance, by which you get a new enlightenment, and with that true light you can realize, you can understand everything in its own real nature. So that is the meaning of guru.
Swamiji, a lot of people are scared to face difficulties in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Should we avoid difficulties, or what should be our attitude towards them?
Well, maybe I could give you an example, if you like. Once I went into a temple, a Hindu temple, and I was standing in front of the idol, praying. All of a sudden, my ears heard kind of soft conversation. So I listened to that. The conversation was this. The stone on the floor right in front of the idol asks the idol, which is made of stone again, "Hey, don't you know that we lived together as brothers? How come you are having all these great reverence, and people pour honey and milk and decorate you with all nice ornaments, and they worship before you, they do everything, whereas the very same person walks on me, tramples on me, ignores me completely? How come this?" Then the idol spoke. "Unfortunately, you missed this opportunity. You should have been in my place, but you missed it. Why? Nobody gave me the chance." No. The sculptor who wanted to make the image first brought the big stone, and it is in that form we were together. When he found out that the stone was too big for the idol, he broke that into two halves. That means we were separated. I was one piece and you were another piece. He started working on you. He placed this chisel and he just gave a little hit. Immediately you became terrible. You shouted at him, "Why? Don't touch me. How dare you hit me?" Then he thought you are possessed with some devil. So he ignored you and he started working on me. And I thought that there must be some reason behind all these hits. Let me wait and see. So I waited patiently, and he little by little chiseled off all the unwanted pieces, And ultimately I came out from that stone. He didn't create the idol. The idol was there hidden in the stone. All that he did is to chisel out the unwanted particles. Huh? See? Do you understand the point? The idol was already, did he put the nose there? Did he put anything there, any part? Everything was there already. But it was hidden with something, all unwanted things. So he took away, chiseled away the unwanted pieces, and the idol came out. So I am here. So I patiently accepted all these hits, all these rubs. So I am here. That is the reason. You are there, I am here. So this made me realize and understand the difficulties in life, the pain in life. Something like doctor performing a serious operation to take out the pus from my abscess. It's not easy, it's painful, but it is for our benefit. We are purging our own sins, if you want to call. So if we understand the suffering in this light, suffering is no more suffering. After all, what is suffering? It's just a matter of understanding. To give another example, a mother who gives birth to a child faces a lot of suffering. Is it not so? It's not that easy to give birth to a child. But behind that suffering, the mother knows she's going to have a lovely baby. So she faces the suffering. She wants it. She accepts it. Once you accept it, it's no more pain for you. It's no more suffering. There is a joy behind it. The same way, if the pain is understood properly in our life, we will never be frightened of the pain. On the other hand, we might even welcome the pain. Oh pain, come on. Help me to get rid of all the dross. Refine me. That is what you call refinement. You were fine, but you lost that fine nature by accumulating all dross things around you. So, removal of the dross is called refinement. See? It's only refining. Not that you are made fine now. You are already fine. That is what you call refinement. A refined man means a person who allowed his dross to go out by suffering. With this light, we will welcome sufferings. Okay? Yes?
Swamiji, you teach us that one has to discipline himself in order to be free.
Mm-hmm.
But aren't freedom and discipline contradictory?
No, they are not contradictory, they are complementary. Because without proper discipline, you cannot have freedom. See, you are free to walk in the road because there is disciplinary action in every signal light, in the traffic. Take the example of driving a car. A person who wants to drive a car should learn the proper way of driving, write an exam, pass the test, then get into the seat. And again the car also must be in a perfect condition. The brakes, tires, battery, gas, engine, ignition, everything should be in perfect order. And above everything, the steering. Then he can have a safe journey and he can make the way also safe for others. So this perfecting the instrument is called discipline. With such a discipline, there is a freedom. Otherwise, as we see occasionally, if freedom is misunderstood, one man say, well, my freedom is to sit in the middle of the road and play cards. Who are you to stop me? So, your freedom should not interfere with the other man's comfort. In a way, we are not independent. We are interdependent. So we have to consider the other people also. Our own body, if all the different organs start functioning as they want, what sort of life you are going to lead? Your eyes may wish to go to a yoga class. Your leg might refuse. I have my freedom. Why should you command me? I don't feel like going now. If you want, you go. So there is a cooperation which you call discipline. Discipline is putting things in the proper order. So discipline is very necessary to enjoy the real freedom.
Swamiji,
Yes?
we hear a lot about mind expansion or higher levels of awareness. Are there such states of being, and if so, how can we attain to them?
Mind expansion. Yes. The law of nature is such that everything from a small atom wants to express itself. They all have consciousness. But there is a natural way. Below the human species, everything is being taken care of by the very nature, and the unfoldment of the consciousness happens automatically. But only in the human level, a freedom is given. You are allowed to work by yourself to unfold your consciousness, expand your mind. By reasoning why the mind is not expanded, what prevents it. So it's a sort of personal, conscious, gradual effort in expanding. That is what yoga teaches. And that is what you see in every religion. Gradually, the ordinary man becomes a superman, unfolds his divinity. But there is a conscious effort and a gradual effort. Imagine a person wants to go to the first floor from the ground floor. He can use the staircase, or he can stand on an escalator, go up, or an elevator, go up. There is a slow, conscious effort in going up. But suppose somebody just rolls you, puts you into a sort of rocket-like thing, and shoots you up. Will you be able to go and land there comfortably? No. Why? Because you are not doing anything by your own capacity. Something pushes you up suddenly. That is the same thing what happens when people try to expand their consciousness by chemicals, by drugs and things like that. There is no conscious effort. The conscious mind is suddenly suppressed, and the subconscious mind is unfolded all of a sudden. It's almost like ransacking. So there is a sudden unfoldment which the individual is not ready to face. It shakes the entire personality, the nerves and glands, everything. And after all, even when he is shot up, he can't stay there. Once the force is over, he falls down again. Because he is not going by his own conscious effort. So he can't stay there. So there is no wisdom behind that. So the mind expansion should be practiced consciously by concentration, meditation, by controlling the senses, and by working on the physical body also through Hatha Yoga, asanas and pranayama. There is a gradual progress. That is the safest way than expecting ourselves to shoot up through chemicals. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you.
That's been gone for hours in the meadow, picking flowers. Pick a tulip, pick a lily, pick my golden daffodilly. Once it was and it's no lie, picking flowers made me cry. For if you'd pick them, they'd die. Now I know it doesn't matter, truly it makes me much gladder. Take some wool and knit a sweater, what is holding it together? If then you could rip the rose, where then would that sweater go? And could you say it had died? Likewise so with men and flowers, both need sunshine, both need showers. Dwelling in a form estated, spirit is yet uncreated. Take a moment, close your eyes. Gone are flowers, men and skies, yet would you say they have died?